Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cami if this is your first time here. Well, I know it's been like a hot little minute since I recorded a video, but I definitely had to come and record today because this one was one that a lot of people have asked for. So I'm going to be recording my keto introduction video for you today. I've been sharing a lot about my weight loss online, and so people are interested to see how this diet goes and what's so different about it. So today I'm just going to explain basically like how I got into it and the basics of keto. It's not going to be like a super in-depth video just because I feel like if this is something that you want to do, you have to put that work in and you have to put that research in yourself. But I feel like this is just like a door opener for a lot of people. So if you're interested in finding out more about keto and figuring out how I lost 37 pounds in 2.5 months, then stay tuned. So basically what the keto diet is, and keto is short for ketogenic, the diet consists of like high fat, moderate protein, and very, very little carbohydrates. Basically from the time you're born, your body is made to run off of like glucose or carbohydrates or sugar. And so those are things like your breads and starches, processed foods like sugars, things like that. But when you are in a state of ketosis, when you starve your body of sugar and carbs and things like that, your body starts to run off of fat. So the fat that you have naturally in your body and that you're putting into your body from your diet is what your body is primarily burning for fuel. You're not giving your body glucose and sugar, then it's gonna switch to a fat burning mode, and that's how you start burning fat during ketosis. It took me about, I would say like a week to get my body into ketosis. I started off just doing like 20 grams of carbohydrates a day, and that's like the general rule of thumb. You don't want to go over 20 net grams of carbohydrates a day, but you can have a pretty good amount of fat and protein. People generally try to stay under 20 net carbs per day. My personal thing that I have my app set for is 16 net carbs per day, just because I know my goals and I know that I would like to lose X amount of weight in like 3 months, 6 months, a year. So I have it for 16 net carbs a day, but generally the rule is like nothing over 20 net carbs. And the way you calculate your net carbs are you take the total carbs in a serving and you subtract any fiber and you subtract any sugar alcohols. Let's say you're having broccoli and your broccoli is 9 grams of carbs total in that serving, but there's also 5 grams of fiber in that serving. You would only count 4 total carbs for that because you're subtracting the 5 grams of fiber from the total carbs. So your net carbs is once you subtract the fiber and the sugar alcohols, and it'll allow you to be like a lot more free in what you eat. Also, when you're doing keto, keep in mind that your sweeteners are sugar alcohols. So you don't want to count any of the carbohydrates in your sweeteners. When I first started, I didn't know that rule. And so I was like looking at different desserts to make and different things like, oh, I want to try making cinnamon rolls and this, that. And I was scared to use my sweetener because it said like 1 teaspoon was like 4 carbs. And I was like, I only get 20 carbs a day. How am I supposed to make this work? But you do not count the carbs in your sweetener, depending on which sweetener you use, towards any total carbs for your day. So personally, I use Erythritol. You can find Erythritol as like the brand name Swerve. There's some other ones. I use Anthony's erythritol, and I get all of my like erythritol, almond flour, coconut flour, all of those things I buy on Amazon, and I buy it from Anthony's. So I'll put the link for those things below so that you guys could check them out yourself. There are apps that will help you track this. The app that I use is the Carb Manager app on my iPhone. Basically, when you get the app, you'll tell the app what your current weight is and what your goal weight is. And then, like, something to remember is that, like, apps like Carb Manager and MyFitnessPal can't legally, like, allow you to lose more than 2 pounds a week. So they always said it that, like, losing 2 pounds a week is the max, but when you are really doing the keto diet, you can lose, like, I've been losing anywhere from like 4 to 7 pounds a week. So you can definitely, like, keep control of that. So the way that I get around doing that is I went into the app and I told it that I wanted to have 1,250 calories a day, and then based on the calories that I eat in a day, they will set your macros, and your macros are your protein, your fat, your carbs, things like that, the things that you are tracking. I would say when you're first starting out, you definitely want to eat more. Like, I didn't start out with 1,250 calories. I started off with like 1,800 calories and more fat and more protein. But as I, like, went into the diet a bit more, like, I realized, like, I could be losing a lot more weight. So eventually I kind of tapered it off. So now I'm at 1,250 calories a day, which is actually, like, still quite a bit of food that I'm consuming, and it's very satisfying. There are no points in the day where I feel like starved or deprived or like I can't have something. The ways that you can test if your body is in ketosis, so let's say you've been doing the diet for about a week, they have urine strips that you can get on Amazon for like $7 or $8. There's also, like, blood tests that you can do. Like, people who are diabetic use those little things that prick their fingers and test their blood. That's actually, like, the most accurate way to test ketones in your blood. But using the urine strips has worked for me since I first tried it. Like, whether you get a faint little pink line or like a dark purple line, that means your body is producing ketones and it's doing what you want it to do. And then as you get deeper into the keto diet, maybe after like a week or two, you can go ahead and start doing intermittent fasting. So what intermittent fasting is you have a window of 8 hours that you can eat. So my window is from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Those are the hours that I typically eat. On the weekends, I'm a little bit more flexible with it, but during the week, I only eat between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. And those hours work for me. You can adjust them based on your own schedule, but you're only eating between those hours because your body reacts every time you put food in your mouth. So every time you eat, if you eat in the morning and then you eat in the afternoon and then in the evening and you wake up and you have like a snack at night, you're having like an insulin reaction every time that you eat something. And so to limit those reactions, intermittent fasting only really allows you to eat between those 8 hours so that you're not constantly having those reactions throughout the day and your body is not constantly producing some level of insulin. And so intermittent fasting and the keto diet, I think, go hand in hand. You can do one without the other, but they really work so well together, and you're gonna see like a dramatic difference once you start doing intermittent fasting. I would not recommend that you start keto fresh and do intermittent fasting. I feel like it's really strict. You'll get frustrated. You might find yourself hungry at like 9 p.m. and you can't eat because it's not your hours. So I would just let your body get adjusted to the diet first, and then maybe after like 2 or 3 weeks, then you can ease yourself into intermittent fasting, because after 2 or 3 weeks, truthfully, your body is going to start to feel fat adapted, and that means that like you don't even really feel hungry throughout the day. Like, rarely do I ever feel truly hungry where I'm just like, God, I have to eat something right now. Like, there are times that does happen, but it's very rare, like a very small percentage. If you're interested in more information on intermittent fasting, I would definitely like Google it and see what's to it. Some people consume bulletproof coffee, and we'll talk about that in a second. Some people consume the bulletproof coffee during intermittent fasting. I don't do the coffee anymore, just because if I have the coffee, then I feel like anything over 50 calories is really like kind of breaking the fast. But like, your keto is your keto. You do it how you want to do it. So usually I'll have the coffee like as a meal. Like, maybe I'll have the coffee as a meal replacement for lunch, or I'll have it later on in the day or something, but I definitely don't do it first thing in the morning. You can have coffee first thing in the morning, but not bulletproof coffee. And I feel like since we're here anyway, this is a good place to touch on what bulletproof coffee is. Bulletproof coffee is a beverage that you make on keto, and I think like every single person I know who does keto does the coffee. So it's basically like any flavor of coffee that you want, any regular coffee, and you mix a tablespoon of grass-fed butter, a tablespoon of coconut oil or MTC oil, and you can flavor it with things like Torani syrup, and you can also put like sweet drops in it, which is stevia drops, so that you're not using sugar. Those are the things that I use in my coffee, and it tastes like really, really good. I have a Keurig, so I do like 10 ounces on my K-cup every single day, and I have it for lunch with like some sort of like nuts or something, and it's just like a really quick, easy lunch. You can have real food for lunch. By no means do you have to have like bulletproof coffee as your lunch or as a meal replacement. I just do it because, as you can see, I wear braces, and while I'm teaching, I have like a very short window to like get something in my body to eat. So instead of going through all the motions of like taking the rubber bands off of my braces and doing all this stuff, it's just easier for me to drink the coffee. Like, I just warm it up and go, and I'm done with it. You can find a ton of like different ways to like spice up your bulletproof coffee online. Just Google it and you'll find a million results. You do not have to be restricted from eating sweets. You can bake any type of sweets that you want. Like, I've baked cookies, I've baked cinnamon rolls, I've baked cakes, I've baked like a ton of things, cheesecakes, like all of these things. Anything that you would normally make, you could make it on keto. Like, I promise you when I say that there's a substitute for everything, and it does not taste like diet food. Like, it still tastes super good and really satisfying. You just have to do the work, find the recipe for it, like get your materials to make it, and you will be great. Like, you can make anything that you want. There's all types of different candies that you can make. Like, if you like Almond Joy or peanut butter cups, like Heath bars, whatever you want to make, there is a keto version of it. I promise you that. Be careful with the sweets. I try to limit the sweets to like twice a week. Sometimes I do a little bit more, I'm not gonna lie, but you don't want to be having sweets and treats every single day, because if that's something that contributed to your weight gain in the beginning, then you don't want to keep like feeding that beast and feeding that monster. You kind of want to like learn to control those cravings and control those urges. But like I said, like, eat when you're hungry. Have something that you want, so that you're not gonna like make a mistake and grab something while you're out that you're not supposed to have. So definitely like feed yourself, eat when you're hungry, but try to limit the sweets to maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Also be careful with the sweeteners of your choice. If you Google it, they will show which type of sweeteners are best for the keto diet. Like erythritol and monk fruit are the best type of sweeteners that I use. But there's a ton of them out there, and there's actually a list on a website, I can't remember it like right off the top of my head, that shows what the insulin impact is on your body based on the type of sugar that it is. So they rank them from best to worst, like stay away from the ones at the bottom, and you really want to use the ones at the top, because some sweeteners might as well be sugar. And I didn't know that at the very beginning of keto either. Like, it's been such a learning process over these past 2.5 months, because when I first started, I was like, oh, like, I really want to have like something sweet. I want to have a treat. So I went to the grocery store, and like, I'm looking at Atkins, because you know Atkins is like another low carb diet, and I'm looking at their little box of like pre-packaged like little peanut butter cups or something. So I bought like 2 boxes of them, and I'm like, good, I have something. So I took it home, I had one, and like I noticed that like my progress after that first week had like stopped at a halt, and I was like making such good progress. I'm like, ooh, 5 pounds, 7 pounds, 8 pounds. That all stopped when I ate those Atkins snacks, and so I had to take a closer look at the ingredients. And the sugar substitute that they use is called maltose, I think, or maltose, something like that. And it honestly is like one of the worst ones that you can use, because your body reacts to it almost as if you're getting sugar in your blood. So be careful with things that say that it's a sugar substitute, but it's actually just like trash that you should not be consuming. Erythritol is plant-based, monk fruit is plant-based, so those things are not gonna react in your body like you're having sugar. So just do your research on that as well. Everybody's weight is a little bit different, so I would say do not compare yourself to other people who are losing weight. Like, I've been doing it for 2.5 months, and there are other people who have been doing it for 2.5 months and they've lost a lot more weight than me, and there's people that have lost a lot less weight than me in 2.5 months. But everybody's starting point is different, so you can't really compare your journey to somebody else's. I would definitely say for anybody that wants to get started on keto, like, basically prepare your grocery list, get yourself prepared, because being prepared is gonna like set you up for success. Do your grocery shopping for like the week or the next 2 weeks in advance. Meal plan, meal prep. Like, do all of that stuff in advance so that you're not looking for something quick that you can throw in your mouth and making a mistake. You're not like, oh, I'm riding past Taco Bell and I just have to have something, because you haven't prepared for that day. I will say that there are a ton of fast food restaurants that are keto friendly. Pretty much anyone that you can think of. Like, I have Chipotle and Wingstop all the time. If I'm in a pinch and I'm like riding past a Wendy's or a McDonald's, like, grab a burger without the bun. Do what you need to do to set yourself up for success. When you are grocery shopping, I would definitely stock up on like a lot of quality beef, a lot of, like, I use chicken, a lot of salmon, you can use shrimp, but you don't have to like buy the most expensive cuts of meat. Like, go ahead and get you like 80-20 ground beef. Go ahead and get like chicken thighs or chicken wings, or like get anything that you want to eat. You do not have to have like lamb chops every night for dinner on the keto diet. Like, it's nice to have those things, but you don't need to. That's why this diet is so awesome, because you can really just like not spend a ton of money at the grocery store and still get what you need to be successful on the diet. I think the bulk of my money was spent at the beginning getting things off of Amazon, because I always, like I said, buy my sweeteners on Amazon. I buy my almond flour on Amazon, and I bought all those things in bulk so that I wouldn't have to be replacing it like all the time. And those things will last you for months. Like, invest in everything that you need at the beginning so that you can be successful as you go. And then week to week, as you go to the grocery store, you're just buying like your meats and your fresh produce. Like, you can have vegetables. You can't have a lot of fruit on the keto diet, I won't lie to you. But you can have things like blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, like those types of berries are fine in moderation. But you can be kind of liberal with your vegetables. You can't have starchy vegetables like potato and corn and things like that. And you have to be careful with like tomatoes, but like broccoli, asparagus, cauliflower, green beans, like all of those things like that. I love to incorporate those into keto because you have to be having your vegetables. You have to be eating some sort of vegetables with this diet. Like it just has to happen. They go hand in hand because you can't just be consuming all fat all the time. That's how people get stuck and they misconstrue the keto diet with like a free-for-all, and it's really not that. You have to be very disciplined. And I started by watching Cutting Up Keto's video. I think I was scrolling on Instagram one day and I saw her page go by and it said how I lost 90 pounds in 5 months, and I was like, what? Like that really caught my attention. So I watched her video and she was so informative. She's a nurse, so she really knows her stuff. She knows what she's talking about, and she made it so easy to understand everything. Like I feel like I'm bouncing around and talking about like topic to topic, but she was so easy to follow and so easy to understand that I felt like I wanted to start the keto diet like the very next day. So I started preparing right after I saw her video. So I would say definitely use YouTube as a resource, use Google, use Instagram as a resource. Like follow the keto hashtag on Instagram. Like I don't know if you know you can do that. You can follow hashtags so that you're not bouncing around trying to follow every single person's keto page on Instagram. Just go to the tags, search keto or keto diet and follow it, and it'll just start to populate your timeline with all kinds of like awesome before and after pictures, recipes, meal prep ideas, like people's personal stories and testimonials. Like you'll just start to get all of that stuff in your news feed, and you can pick like, oh, I want to follow this person, or like I love following this page and like they give me helpful tips on this page. So I probably now follow like 50 keto pages, but all of them offer something different and something helpful while I'm doing this diet. So that's why I use Instagram the most for recipes and like motivation and resources. Like other people will start to be your power on this diet. So don't sleep on Instagram. Utilize Amazon as much as you can. I have Amazon Prime, so I know my mailman is so tired of me because I have something coming like every other day, literally. And it's all keto stuff now. It used to be makeup like every other day, but it's all keto related now. That's my new obsession. So get yourself like a rolling pin so that you can use it to make fathead dough, which is like what I use for my pizza or garlic bread or like cinnamon rolls, like any type of sweet bready type of thing that you want. You can use fathead dough to make it, but you need a rolling pin. You're gonna need parchment paper. You can get that at Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree will be your friend. Stock up on a lot of measuring cups, liquid measuring cups, dry measuring cups, and measuring spoons. And also get yourself a digital food scale. I would get one off of Amazon for like $7 or $8. Get yourself a lot of Tupperware so that you can meal prep and save food for the week. And then really just sit and think about like, what do you want to put on your grocery list? Like what is going to be good for you? And when in doubt, please utilize Google, utilize a website called ruledme.com. And I'm going to put all that stuff below, but definitely use your resources, use the internet. It is here for you for a reason. Google is free. Like, please don't feel like you can't approach this diet because you just don't know enough. Like, no, get on Google and search and figure out what you want to learn. I am going to also put in the description box like just like a general grocery list that I use. I don't always get those things every single time I go grocery shopping, but I just have the list just as like a guide for things that I might need to stock up on or restock. And it's super helpful just to have it in the notes in my phone, so you can feel free to take that. Please put any questions that you have for me in the comment box below. I will try my best to answer like any questions that anybody might have. If you are a person that doesn't necessarily agree with the keto diet, because there's a lot of people who like are against the keto diet for whatever reason. If you're one of those people, please understand that while I respect your opinion, I don't care to hear it. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So just feel free to keep that to yourself. And anybody who has questions or concerns, I'm more than happy to answer them. Definitely give this video a like and a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.